Love is love. Identity is identity. Yet for decades and still today, millions of people around the world have been punished, pushed out, or even killed simply because of who they are or who they love. This is not just history. This is still happening right now to people in the LGBTQ+ community. Welcome to KJ Talks. In this video, we are talking about the real problems the LGBTQ+ community has faced and is still facing. And we are going to look at real-life cases that prove how deep homophobia can go. Homophobia shows up in many ways. Sometimes it is obvious, like name-calling, slurs, threats, or bullying. Other times it is quieter, like being excluded from family events, being told to hide your identity, or being rejected from jobs, housing, or opportunities for reasons that are never said out loud. It can come from strangers, from co-workers, from religious spaces, and sadly, even from family members. For many LGBTQ+ people, being honest about who they are is not just a personal choice. It is a safety risk. In some places, coming out can mean losing your home, losing your job, or losing your life. In other places, the law itself is against you. Simply loving someone of the same gender or expressing your gender differently can lead to arrest or harassment by the police. To really understand the damage homophobia causes, we need to talk about real people. One of them is Daniel Mauricio Zamudio Vera, a 24-year-old gay man from Santiago, Chile. In March 2012, he was attacked by 4 men linked to a neo-Nazi group. They beat him for hours, burned him with cigarettes, carved swastikas into his skin, and even mutilated part of his ear. He was left unconscious in a park and spent weeks in the hospital before dying from his injuries later that month. Daniel's death shocked Chile. Thousands of people marched, held vigils, and demanded change. His case forced the country to confront how normal homophobia and hate had become. After years of delay, the government finally passed an anti-discrimination law, often called the Zamudio Law, but it took a brutal murder to push the law through. Another example comes from the United States. In May 1988, a 33-year-old gay man named Richard Reel was murdered in Wethersfield, Connecticut. 2 teenage boys met him near a gay bar, went back to his home, tied him up with duct tape, beat him with a fireplace log, robbed him, and left after making sure he was dead. They used homophobic slurs and targeted him specifically because he was gay. Richard's murder became a turning point in Connecticut. His death sparked outrage, protests, and organizing within the LGBTQ+ community. Over the next few years, the state passed hate crime laws that included sexual orientation and later added protections against discrimination in housing, jobs, education, and public places. Once again, it took a tragedy to convince people that homophobia was not just a joke or an opinion, but a real danger. These are only 2 cases out of many. Around the world, there are countless stories of LGBTQ+ people who have been beaten, arrested, kicked out of their homes, or even killed. Some of their names make the news. Most do not. But together, their stories show a pattern. Homophobia is not just about hurt feelings. It is about power, control, and violence. Even in countries where LGBTQ+ people have more rights on paper, the struggle is not over. Laws can change faster than people's hearts. Someone might technically be protected at work, but still face daily harassment from co-workers. A person might have the legal right to marry, but not feel safe holding their partner's hand in public. Trans and non-binary people, in particular, often face a mix of transphobia, homophobia, and general ignorance every single day. So why does this still matter? It matters because behind every statistic and every headline is a human being. Someone's friend, someone's family member, someone's child. When society sends the message that LGBTQ+ people are wrong, broken, sinful, or dangerous, it does not just create hate crimes. It also creates depression, anxiety, self-hatred, and a feeling that you do not deserve to exist. If you are watching this and you are part of the LGBTQ+ community, I want you to hear this clearly. Your life has value. Your identity is real. You are not a problem to be fixed. The problem is the hate, the ignorance, and the systems that have treated you as less than human. And if you are watching as an ally or someone who is still learning, there are things you can do. Listen without judgment when someone trusts you enough to share who they are. Speak up when you hear homophobic or transphobic jokes. Support policies and organizations that protect LGBTQ+ rights. And most importantly, remember that you do not have to fully understand someone's experience to respect it. The stories of people like Daniel Zamudio and Richard Reel are painful, but they also show what happens when communities refuse to stay silent. Change is possible, laws can improve, attitudes can shift, but it does not happen by itself. It happens when regular people decide that hate is not acceptable and that everyone deserves safety and dignity. This is KJ Talks, and today we talked about the real cost of homophobia and the ongoing struggles of the LGBTQ+ community. If this video opened your eyes or connected with your experience, please like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear these stories. And remember this, wherever you are not alone. Love is love.